Welcome to Fast Track Lesson 8. This is part 2 of portions. We covered the other components. We're on our way to having a perfect day. We drink our water, we journal, we eat the right food combinations to control insulin. We eat the 3 or less eating episodes a day for optimization. If we want a 4th or 5th, needs to be freebies. If we're going to graze, we need to graze on the freebie list, because we don't need it. It's for our mental weakness. And sometimes we have mental weakness, but we don't want to call it a holiday. We want to still be on track to have a perfect day. But again, optimization. You can do it, Bobby Boucher. You can do it. 3 or less eating episodes a day. But what about these eating episodes? What about the portions? How much can I eat? We all have the idea that we want to push the boundaries of how much we can consume. Need to stop that too. It doesn't matter if you have an approved portion here. If you can feel the heaviness after you eat, you can feel it stretching your stomach, you've had too much. It's not a holiday, but you've had too much at that point. Okay, you've had too much. We don't need that much. Our stomach is very flexible. It stretches. And that's one reason we stay hungry all the time. We need to let the stomach get back in its natural shape. Your stomach can't hold that much food, but we just stretch it and stretch it and stretch it. We've got a portion rule that will help you do that, okay? For meal episodes, we want to eat them on a 6 to 8 inch plate. A 6 to 8 inch plate. I use a portion plate. I keep a portion plate in my survival kit. I love doing that, okay? If I don't have my portion plate, I use the 2-hand rule, hands and fingers together. You don't want to do this or do this. Hands and fingers together, and your thumbs interlock, hands like this. Men's hands are usually bigger than women's. We're bigger people. So we come, that ain't fair, right? We're bringing our hands down and we're putting that over our meal. So if I've got chicken breast and broccoli, my hands should cover it. I shouldn't be able to see it. Okay. If I've got pork tenderloin, green beans, and sweet potato, that's a good combination, by the way. If I've prepared it the right way, I take my 2 hands, I put it directly over that combination. And if there's none sticking out around the edges, it's piled up no thicker than the thickest part of my hand. That's an approved meal. We've done it. We had the right portion. There are some exceptions to that. When you're in the weight loss mode, even if you can cover 2 sandwiches, 2 burgers, 2 hot dogs, if there's approved bread, hot dog, hamburger, sandwich, sub, you do not want to have but one. Okay, no matter how much you can fit under those hands, you only have one when it relates to that. But let's say you're having an approved pizza recipe. Then 2 hands covers the pizza, your portion of the pizza, you're good to go. 6 to 8 inch plate or 2-hand rule. If you're a calorie counter, meals need to be 0 to 400 calories. That's the sweet spot. If you hit 500, you'll probably see maintenance. So 0 to 500, that's worst case scenario. That's really pushing the boundaries. The sweet spot of approved foods is about 350, 400 calories for a meal. Keep that in mind. If it's an approved snack, still has to be approved to control the fat bus. You're talking, generally speaking, 200 calories or less. The formula changes. We need less protein and fiber to approve a snack than we do a meal, because a snack is going to be naturally lower calories. Okay, so those are our portion rules. Now we have our 3 or less eating episodes. We portion each meal. Man, life is going to begin to change. That's our portion rule. Now there are exceptions to the portion rule. Always in the food library, recipe library, just in case, you want to double check the description and make sure it doesn't say to add a little more or take a little more away. That's rare, but it does occur. Sometimes somebody's really wanted something and we've had to say, okay, you can have it. It will neutralize insulin, but I need you to have half the portion that you would normally have. Or it may be something like egg whites. Egg whites is a lean protein. And we follow the portion rule with lean proteins. But guess what? Egg whites fit in another category as well. They're not just a lean protein. They're also a freebie. Nobody's ever looked in the mirror and said, Lord help, I got to back away from the egg whites. I've put on way too much weight. So there are some nuances to our program that will benefit you as you find the loopholes. All right, that's the end of this lesson. We have just covered now the portion component fully, and we will be taking a look at the timing rule next. See you then.